Hi, this is Stephanie Miller from The Stephanie Miller Show. Please enjoy this exclusive clip from my show on Political Voices Network. We were talking, obviously, about just the Supreme Court. All the justices seem annoyed with Trump's lawyers, which is a kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Starting with Alina Habba.
Bless you.
Thank you. A civil rights group has joined the fight to keep Trump from holding office again with an argument that gives the U.S. Supreme Court a dose of their own medicine. The brief gives the Supreme Court's originalists, who believe the Constitution should be interpreted as it would have been in the era it was written, a taste of their own medicine. Conservative justices Thomas, Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and Barrett are self-declared originalists, and Alito has also described himself that way. But, I was saying, Dana, there's just so much hypocrisy on the whole states' rights thing, depending on what the issue is, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
you want me to continue?
All right. Let me just pick up that ball. Okay.
No. And that one back to you.
Yeah, a group of experts expressed fear the Supreme Court's decision on whether Trump should run in the ballot could inspire more political violence. I hate this argument that, we got to give the inmates the asylum because we don't want to make them mad, right? She said, violence is likely no matter what happens. If the Supreme Court doesn't disqualify Trump and he continues his campaign, his speech campaign style will probably generate so many violent incidents. Should Trump lose the election, his disbelieving supporters are likely to engage in major violence. While Trump's ability to draw out large crowds now has been dented by fear of false flags, DOJ's beheading of the Oath Keepers and other factors, his capacity will likely return after months of campaigning. I feel like this should play no role in how are the lunatics going to react.
100%. If there is someone saying there's going to be violence either way, then keep him out of the White House. Because I would much rather us deal with some violence on the streets that is temporary instead of 4 more years of people feeling emboldened and empowered to kill trans people in the streets, to kill black people in the streets, to take away women's reproductive health rights and anyone else that can birth a child. I would much rather deal with a temporary, whatever blow up is going to happen if they keep him out of the White House than 4 more years of this crap. And that's assuming he even leaves. If he gets back in there, he's going to be a White House squatter. That's what he's going to turn into.
Oh, God. This is another story. What I was just saying, Trump defense in Colorado case could topple authority of state courts. I think one expert said, I think the outcome is going to be that the court does not disqualify Trump from being on presidential primary ballots. It's been presumed that when a state Supreme Court makes a factual finding, the Supreme Court is supposed to defer to that. Yep. It really can't mess with the factual findings of a state Supreme Court. However, Trump's lawyer here essentially said there's no reason for the court to give any deference to that. It is amazing how, I think Allison Gill, who we had on Monday, your co-host, pointed out that it's just so ridiculous how they think we have no short-term memory at all when he argues like, oh, I'm not an officer of the the United States when he wants the DOJ to defend him from E. Jean Carroll, and then like, oh, now I am it's all of his argument. They're never legal arguments. Right. They're political arguments that are convenient for him.
Absolutely, and hopefully at least the courts are keeping track of all of the flip-flopping. That's all. That's truly all we can hope. Obviously, Trump judges are going to turn a blind eye to some of it, but hopefully there's enough people in the judiciary that are actually going to uphold the Constitution.
But they don't. They say out loud now they don't believe the law applies to them. Greg Abbott can say, "Oh no, I don't care what the Supreme Court says." Mm-hmm.
Right. That one is even more unnerving, I think, that you've got a governor of a state saying, yeah, I know the federal government is supposed to be in charge of this, but I'm ignoring them. That right there is terrifying.
Yeah. So the other thing I guess in all the hubbub of the Supreme Court, the Judge Engoron thing, is that still going to be this week, we think? I
don't know.
Yeah, he still has some splaining to do. Yep. As Ricky Ricardo would say about this $50 million loan. I don't know whether every time there's going to be a judgment on something, it seems like more criming happens than the Weisselberg perjury. So now he has to take that into account, and I think it's all going to end up worse for Trump. But it's just, I know they just discovered this other $50 million loan that he lied about. Speaking of trying to rewrite history from the Trump years, this is just another U.S. trade deficit narrowed in 2023 to the smallest in 3 years. Latest figures add to a series of positive economic news for Biden. And I know, one poll has Biden up by several points, but I can't help the one statistic about people think Trump's better for the economy. It's not like, I get it in 2016. The media did a horrible job. They're like, oh, he's a businessman. He'll probably be good for the economy. But now he made a wreck of the economy. I mean, what was the employment rate? I don't even remember the exact number. 6 point something.
Oh, yeah.
Almost 7 or whatever when he.
And I think it's 3.7
yes,
right now?
when Biden took. How is there any dispute about who the economy is better under?
There is zero dispute amongst the people who actually believe in facts. There's obviously a lot of dispute on the other side who are believing all the BS that's coming out of Fox News. I just hope that between now and the election, they continue to put these numbers up, make commercials out of them, have it in their face, and put it on places that aren't just an echo chamber for Democrats. We have to reach a large number of independents that realize the country is in better shape right now than it was 4 years ago.
Yeah. Well, by the way, mentioning 2016, have I ever told you that I'm going to die mad about?
No. About what exactly?
Hillary? About what?
Yes.
This country did to Hillary.
I recall a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have I mentioned that you can get your Hillary was right about everything T-shirt, and also I'm going to die mad T-shirts
yes, you can.
about 2016 at StephanieMiller.com.
Yes.
Oh, here she is last night. Okay.
Tucker Carlson is in Moscow right now interviewing Vladimir Putin.
Right.
The first American, I'll say, journalist to interview Putin since the war in Ukraine began. What does that tell you about Tucker Carlson and right-wing media and also Vladimir Putin?
Well, it shows me what I think we've all known. He's what's called a useful idiot. I mean, if you actually read translations of what's being said on Russian media, they make fun of him. I mean, he's like a puppy dog. You know, he somehow has, after having been fired from so many outlets in the United States, I would not be surprised if he emerges with a contract with a Russian outlet, because he is a useful idiot.
Do you ever torture yourself by thinking how much better things would be if Hillary Clinton were in her second term now? Or whatever. I've lost track of time. But it's just, the mind reels, doesn't it?
It really does. You know, you try and see the collateral beauty of this horrible situation with 2016, and it's hard. I mean, a lot of these people that have been put in prison and that have been, well, a lot of them were actually pardoned, unfortunately, with their federal crimes. Yeah. But I'm not sure all this would have been brought to light had she won the election. And trust me, it's not a good trade-off for me, but I'm trying to find some sort of sunlight in that darkness that was the 2016 election.
Yeah, one last one.
But also because it's a sign that there are people in this country right now who are like a fifth column for Vladimir Putin. And why? I don't know. I mean, why are certain Republicans throwing their lot in? Why are, other Americans basically believing Putin? Why did Trump believe Putin more than our 11 intelligence agencies?
I don't know. Do you have a working theory?
I do have a working theory.
It's just what just happened with Ukraine funding. I mean, it's just Putin's wish list, Dana. And someone was tweeting, not just a thank you for 2016 for interfering and installing Trump and helping Republicans. It's a down payment for 2024. I mean,
absolutely.
I know you and Allison from Mueller, she wrote initially, I'm sure are concerned about Russian, Hungary in 2024.
Oh, absolutely.
The stakes
I think
couldn't be higher
ever.
for Putin.
Absolutely. 100% agree. I think more than ever there's going to be election interference. It's one of those things, and they keep saying we got to get out and vote numbers that are too hard to manipulate, and it counts for this election again. You got to bring everyone who does not vote with you. All the people that always get out and, defend our democracy are going to get out. Find someone who doesn't believe their vote counts anymore and convince them that it does.
Yeah. And there's, on Q, MSNBC just aired footage of, Bobby Kennedy Jr. in 2000 saying a third-party candidate helps Republicans get elected when he was talking about Nader, and it's just, I just have to hope that people actually end up, 9 months from now, wherever it is, actually care about our democracy enough to, put their own egos and whatever else aside or their own single issues,
I don't know how we recover from this in my lifetime, but I sure hope there's a path to it, because this is going to be exhausting otherwise.
Oh, God. Michael in the Bronx, you're on with Dana. Hey, Mike.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah, go ahead.
Number one, why are we having this discussion regarding the 14th Amendment? Because it's pretty much cut and clear. You commit an insurrection, you cannot serve in any public office whatsoever. No hearing, no discussion on the matter, no appeal, nothing. just like any other sports game. But then I saw some tweets from our friend Dino Badala, who's watching these proceedings. Damn it looks like Alito legislating from the bench once again, trying to help the Trump lawyer. But Sotomayor, she's kicking major butt, trying to stick to the constitutional grounds.
Yeah, and I think that's what, Chris, you were just saying, that it seems like all of the justices, Dana, are annoyed with Trump's lawyers.
Right. Yeah, they're frustrated.
Yeah.
It seems like. I haven't heard any of the testimony or anything like that, but I've been reading like little snippets here and there, and it seems like everyone is frustrated at Trump's attorneys.
Yeah.
I think part of it is we know that three of these justices were installed by Trump sycophants. So it's one of those things where they probably want to be able to protect their boy, but when you have the worst lawyer standing in front of you arguing the most absurd arguments that even those justices that are bought and paid for during the Trump administration feel like their back's up against the wall because they're like, this guy's an idiot. You're not making our job very easy.
Yeah. Even Amy Coney Barrett has been taking the Trump lawyer to task.
Yeah. I mean, Dana, it's just, I was saying, it is just hard to wrap your mind around what kind of unbelievable show we could be in for in the fall. Like I was saying, this whole thing, if that you can run and be elected, but you can't serve, what would happen in that? I mean, it's just, you're like, I can't believe we're in this situation. And the immunity ruling, I mean, obviously all the legal experts are saying, the Supreme Court's not going to hear it. Trial's going to go ahead in the spring, but I don't know. Like you say, there's this Supreme Court. I'm not confident that they won't find a way to, because by the way, giving him a stay would be the same as giving him immunity.
Yep.
If they can help delay this till after the election, right?
Right, and I see if anything's going to happen where the Supreme Court can get away with something without looking like they're highly partisan toward Trump, even though that's almost impossible now, it is to put a stay on this case. Because, like you said, if they kick it back to the lower court, the trial's going to happen before the election. So I'm hoping that they do not do that, but we have to hold our breath at this point and just hope for the best.
Yeah,
I mean, truly.
Well, and speaking of which, Judge Cannon, I don't know if you've seen all the latest on that, but I'm hoping there's a real. Lawrence Tribe thinks there might be a real way to get rid of her because she's becoming so obvious in her, and now obviously there's a witness that looks like is endangered in this case, but she's so obviously putting her thumb on the scale for Trump.
Yeah, I do hope that there's a case. I hope he's right. I would love for it to happen sooner than later. It's awful that case is being held up as much as it is because it's pretty cut and dry. All of the experts think it's pretty cut and dry, but you have to have a judge that's actually going to let it go forward.
Yeah. Kevin in D.C., you're on with Dana. Hey, Kev.
Yes, good morning. I just want to make sure I heard a lovely thing I thought I heard. Did you say that there's a movie with Dana and Jody in it?
Yeah.
Yes, and it has a lesbianic theme.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, not that matters to me at all.
No. Hot girl on girl, not for you. No, thank you.
No.
Oh, absolutely not. Why would I be interested in such a wonderful... anyway,
right.
Focus.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
What you said about Hillary, I just caught the interview. If that's the one you're talking about, what she had last night. Caught it this morning. Oh my God.
Yes, with Alex Wagner.
Please
Go ahead.
someone tell me.
Yes.
Yeah, please someone tell me again. I learned I only needed to touch the stove once and knew that wasn't a good idea. I only need to see women react negatively to men catcalling them once to know that they don't like that. By the same token, how did we live through an 8-year wide-awake nightmare with people playing that same crap? I can't vote for Gore because he's not sufficiently whatever. Then we do it again with Trump, and we've still got to sweat with every criteria. Biden's great economy, Biden handling several things at once that would drive people 30 years younger than him crazy, and he's handling it well. Why are we still sweating? How can you not learn from the Trump and the Bush experiences to know that you don't get your pony and letting them win is not a solution to it?
Yeah, or like I keep saying, Dana, like if there's any analogy to Biden and Gaza and let's say George W. Bush and Iraq,
Right.
like oh my God, or people have talked about Vietnam. I mean, it's so insane to me. This is not Biden's war. I mean, I was saying, yes, I would love for Netanyahu to be gone, but it's a democracy. How do we do that? Exactly,
Well, didn't he actually lose and then somehow got reinstated? So I know it's a democracy, but something squirrely is going on over there during the elections.
He's a far-right crook, just like Trump.
Yep.
I mean, but anyway, I was just saying, but I mean, I know when I have Bush flashbacks and I think of, I agree exactly with what Bobby Kennedy said then about voting for Nader, because I'm like, oh my God, we didn't attack, we attacked the wrong country. We killed hundreds of thousands of innocent civilians, right? I mean, what a disaster. You forget what a disaster the George Bush presidency was, because Trump's was an even bigger one.
Isn't that crazy? You're right. I mean, during that time, we had so many of us that were like, I miss George Bush a little bit. He's a war criminal, but at least he's dumb, And,
lied about weapons of mass. Don't even get me started. These are the headlines we have to live through today. Shameless Kellyanne Conway is manipulating syphilitic Trump to become VP. Well, we deserve that headline.
It's a great headline.
We deserve it. Kellyanne Conway recently wrote a piece for the New York Times making recommendations for who he should select as VP. The Daily Beast says the entire point of the Conway column does manipulate Trump into selecting her as VP. Daily Beast says Conway is shameless enough to unlock the keys to Trump's syphilitic mind with a combination of all-out flattery and the promotion of Trump's business interests. She happily promoted Trump's brand during her time in the White House to the point that the Office of Special Counsel recommended she be fired for multiple violations of the Hatch Act. Further, she understands that loyalty as obsequiousness is precisely what Trump desires. She is. She was of all the snakes.
Right.
She might be the snakiest.
she really is. I'm so grateful that at least, I mean, I don't know. I can't imagine they're still in the same house. I haven't been following their relationship, but at least
they're
George
separated,
Conway is.
aren't they? Or
They're
separated.
separated.
They're separated.
Yeah.
yeah.
And her daughter, I mean, also not a big fan of her own mother, which is a beautiful thing. That, I mean, the bottom line though is like, Kellyanne wasn't always like this either. I'm not saying she was ever a good person, but wasn't she on Ted Cruz's
Yes, she
campaign?
was.
Before?
Yes.
She
Oh
was.
yeah. Said all the things we've all said about Trump and worse when she was working for Ted Cruz. She's just a soulless,